Let's do this.
It's time for Hanging with Langan.
I like that she's got a big dirty mouth that gets her in trouble.
Wow.
Stop me, 'cause I'm having a good time.
Well, hello, hi. How are you this morning? A special edition of Hanging with Langan. I'm Maureen Langan, and I love when you guys tune in. You know what this show is about. It's fun, heart, smart. I talk to everyone from academics and actors to alcoholics. Everyone is welcome when you're hanging with Langan. That's what I do. You know, I was a journalist for many years, and I am a stand-up comedian, and I like to blend the two worlds and bring a sense of humor and connection to the people that I meet. And you guys have been terrific. Follow it here on Facebook and YouTube. If you are watching this, you must share. Just hit the share button. That's it. Hey, we're hanging with Langan. We want to share. That's it, because I have a great guest coming up in just 1 second. I want to introduce him to you. This was a last-minute booking, and I'm so grateful that he was available, because to me, this is a big deal. His name is Jrome Andre. No E in Jerome. It's Jrome. It's very unique. It's a very sexy name. Jrome Andre. He's an actor, and he is one of the stars of New York City's out-of-the-box theater's revival of The Exonerated. Now, The Exonerated, this tells the true stories of 6 wrongfully convicted people, survivors of death row. Like, they were scheduled to die, and then they were exonerated. So this play, The Exonerated, it's a revival. The show tells the story of these 6 people in their own words, culled from interviews, letters, transcripts, case files, and the public record. So it's so authentic. It will kick off on October 7th and run through October 10th at the Bernie Wall Center in New York City. That's at Columbus Avenue and 90th Street. Now, Jrome Andre, while never on death row, this is what's so cool about him as an actor performing and starring in The Exonerated, is he knows firsthand the injustice of being wrongfully accused. He was accused of sexual assault and battery when he was a teenager living in St. Louis. So I just find it so fascinating that this young teenager is now in a play about being exonerated. And it's just, I cannot wait to talk to him more. I know you guys are going to love him. Jrome Andre!
You're about to make me cry.
Already? Oh, we're going to cry. Oh, we will cry a tear or two. Thanks for being here, sweetheart.
Thank you for having me this morning, actually. Thank you so much.
You know what? I have to ask you this. We're going to get The Exonerated. It's a revival. It's critically acclaimed, and I've not seen it, so now I must. But I want to get to your story before we get to the play story, because I think the trajectory is really fascinating. Tell me about your life, just where you grew up, and then what happened to you as a teenager.
I'm originally from St. Louis, Missouri. I started running away from home at the age of 15 years old. My parents, they were going through a divorce, crazy situation, a lot of gunplay.
Gunplay.
I had seizures, started having seizures at 12 years old. And because of the stress, at 7 years old, our windows were blown out at 3 o'clock in the morning by some crazy people.
Oh, boy.
My mother at 12 years old put a gun in my mouth.
What?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
I'm going to ask you a favor. Your bangles are getting, you're bangling. I love it. It's divine. It's lovely. I want people to hear the gun in your mouth. I want them here. I want him to hear the story instead of bang and tang. No, that's not funny. Your mother put a gun in your mouth?
She put a gun in my mouth. I was 12 years old. I had started having seizures. I got hit in the head with a baseball bat playing at school. And that caused me to have seizures. And that morning I wasn't really feeling well. And I said, Mom, I don't feel well. She's like, get your butt up and go to school. I'm like, Mom, I don't feel well. And she grabbed me, threw me on the floor, and put her gun in my mouth.
Wow.
A very unhappy woman at that time.
Was she on drugs or?
No, not at all. Let me explain something to you.
All right.
When you tell people the story, they'd be like, oh, your parents gotta be on drugs. They were this. My mother was a beautiful woman. My father was a hustler. My father, if he was alive, would be 111 years old.
Mm.
So he came from that time of hustling women, and my mom and dad, they were in love with each other, but my mother had a problem with my dad and women.
I gotcha. Always something
And
going on.
yeah, when you're growing up like that, everybody's on edge. And my
But
father,
what mother, like I grew up around anger, and all I can say is, thank God my Irish mother didn't have a gun. She only had
yeah,
pots and pans. Thank God for that. But what mother in her right mind puts a gun in her 12-year-old son's
well,
mouth?
a
Like,
mother that is stressed out,
you think?
a person that is
Mm.
stressed out, a person who really most likely didn't want children.
Mm.
You know, a lot of times women have children because of their husbands,
Mm-hmm.
not because of them wanting. My mother never, she would never hug me. I have one picture of her holding me. I was like 3 years old,
Oh boy.
but my mom never held me. And I remember when my father died, and I put my head on her shoulder. She says, "Get your head off my shoulder."
Mm.
You know, so it was
Mm.
my father. Let me explain something to you about my dad. My dad had like a eighth grade education. He was from Arkansas, and all he did was hustle. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened is he had to go legit after being in prison for a murder. And that was before I was born. But when you grow up in a household and people are on edge, and my father had a crazy temper. He packed a gun, he carried a gun everywhere he went.
Yeah, this is a
So
theme going on in your
yeah,
family.
the gun culture was something that I was used to.
Yeah.
In our hallway, there was a shotgun in our hallway.
Mhm. So it was around you. What I want to know though, so you're painting a picture, I'm getting it, of the anger, of the womanizing, the hustling, the mother being beautiful, but not apparently wanting kids. So now you're 12, there's a gun in your mouth, you got a concussion from the bat at school. How did we go from that? Because there was a time then that I understand that you were charged as a teenager, wrongfully so. What were the charges?
Yes.
What charges?
Actually, I was charged with assault and battery, second degree assault and battery.
For what?
And then for actually, I was what I did was I enrolled in a beauty school in St. Louis,
Mhm.
December of 1981.
And how old were you at the time?
I was 19. I was
Okay, so
19.
you were a young man.
Young man.
Yes.
And by April of 1982,
Mm-hmm.
I had been arrested, put out of beauty school,
Mm.
accosted. The first day I went to the school and I applied, the owner was Frederick Ford. He owned the beauty school. He reminded me of Little Richard with a wife.
Yeah.
And you get it, right?
Yeah.
And his basic thing was, you get this student loan, we'll let you into school. Well, I got the student loan, they let me into school. But I felt like I didn't belong. The kids didn't like me. And they didn't like me because of my color. Because you're talking about St. Louis, 1981, 82. You did not cross South Grand. There was Grand, North Grand, South.
So you didn't stay in your place. You didn't know your place. So here you are in beauty school, and you're with white people who are like, "What's he doing here?"
Now wait a minute. Now my junior high school, I went to a private junior high school, which was an integrated school. My high school I went to was an integrated high school, so I got along with everybody. So for them to treat me like that, I'm like, "Hey guys, what's up?" And they're like, "Nigga."
Really?
Yes. But the teacher in the beauty school, Miss Mary, she liked me. She had like orange hair, purple hair, and she really liked me. So she worked with me. I was not a good hairdresser, actually. I was terrible.
Is that why you're wearing a cap?
Wait a minute. I don't have none now. I was burning people's hair out. I cut my mother's hair. My mother had long hair.
Yeah.
When I finished with her, she had 2 inches of hair. So
Payback's a bitch, lady, with the gun in the mouth.
Hairdresser.
Payback's a bitch.
But people like me because I've always been kind. No matter what situation, what circumstance, adults always like me. Not always good for adults to like you when you're a young child. And I will explain to you that later on.
Yeah.
But it was a Friday, and the kids at the school, I guess they decided we're going to get this Negro out. So I was in the back area of the school. I was working on my mannequin, and these 5 kids surrounded me. One young lady. Now, at my age now, I can see it was a setup.
Mm-hmm.
But at that time, understand something. When you have 5 people around you, and you have been, by then I had been raped. I had a double-barrel shotgun thrown on me. So I was not about to let 5 kids beat me down in the school.
Mm-hmm.
They pushed me around, and the secretary of the school, she saw them. She didn't say anything at that time. And the girl smacked me. And I went berserk because I was afraid. I threw the guy into the glass mirror of the school, and we just fought. Well, after that occurred, Miss Mary.
You threw one of the guys through the glass, through a mirror.
Actually, it was my cubicle. So I threw him against the glass, the mirror, and the mirror broke. Yes.
All right, let me reset this for people just tuning in now. My guest is Jrome Andre. He's starring in the Out of the Box Theater's production revival of The Exonerated at the Wall Center, the Bernie Wall Center in New York City, October 7th through October 10th. And the fascinating thing with having Jrome on as my guest is he's telling the story, while he was never on death row like the characters, the real life characters of The Exonerated. He was accused of assault and battery as a young man, as a teenager. And that's what we're talking about now, his childhood. And then how interesting it is that he's now in a show about being exonerated. So we're picking this up. He's in beauty school. The kids aren't digging him. They're surrounding him. And now people just got chucked into some things. So that's where we are.
Well, at that point, there's blood. And Miss Mary grabs me. And she's really afraid because she realizes that something may happen. They called the cops. They had 8 police cars, which consisted of 16 police looking for me.
Yeah.
She put me in a dumpster in the back of the school.
Yeah.
And the kids evidently told the cops where I was.
Well, she did that to protect you. She didn't think you were a piece of junk. She wanted you stay close to the mic, Rome. I want to make sure we hear you. Stay close to your mic.
She did that actually to protect me.
Yes. Okay.
Because she realized that I was in South St. Louis, me being a young man of color, that they were going to beat me down probably. So she called my mom, and my mom, of course, they came finally. And Miss Mary actually went to the precinct. She left the school and went to the precinct. And my mom had a friend that worked at the precinct. So he got to me and they separated me from the other guys and put me in a cell by myself, thank God.
And what were you arrested for?
Assault and battery. But the young lady said that I had been trying to sexually assault her. So my parents placed bond. Thank God my parents was able to get me out. I stayed in there between 24 and 36 hours. They got me out. I went home, and then I found out a week later that the state had picked up the charges, and they were going to trial me. Yes.
Oh, for assault and battery.
Yes. And then they kept on saying, well, he tried to sexually assault her because of so and so and so and so on. So my parents they were like, well, he can get a public defendant. My mother's like, you know what? He's going to go to jail. They're going to put it, because in St. Louis, you think about second degree, it's from 5 to 16 years sometimes.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Let me say something to you.
Yes,
Once
please.
you get in the system,
Mm.
you're in the system. Believe it or not, you're in the system. And anything that happens in the neighborhood, they will pick you up.
Yeah, they got you. They're on
Yeah,
you.
they got you. They
Yeah.
got you. But with me, my father being even though he had like a ninth grade education, he was a smart guy.
Street
And
smart.
yeah, street smart. And at that time, my father, he had lost his sight. And by then he had lost his sight. He had a colostomy. So my mom had to do they had gotten a divorce by then, but somehow they got back together again as friends. So my dad got the money, they got me out, and I had to find an attorney. They found an attorney, and I found out all about these charges, what they were charging me with, what would happen to me if I went to jail. Um, so for a year, this went on for about a year. I tried to get into a beauty school. So I only had like a month and a half to finish to get my license, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
They had blacklisted me. Everywhere I would go in St. Louis, they were like,
Yeah,
no,
right, because you're now tarnished. You're branded as the guy who,
no, right.
yeah.
That's one reason why I left St. Louis. Several reasons why I left St. Louis.
But what I want to get clear, because then I want to move on to the show as well. So I want to understand here. You're charged with assault and battery.
Yes.
This gal. I don't even want to
Yes.
call her a lady because she's not a lady.
Still young lady, because you know why? You have to forgive people.
All right, but I still don't have to call her a lady. I'm not calling her a lady. You know when they say on the news, like all of a sudden, the gentleman stabbed his wife's twice. I'm like, that's not a gentleman. Like, gentlemen don't stab people. You can't be calling like killers gentlemen. You don't call a woman who accused a guy of sexual assault. You don't say the lady. You can say the woman. You could say that person. You can give her a name. Does she have a first name that we can use?
Call her Mary.
No, because we like Miss Mary. She's the
Call
teacher.
her Claire. They call her Claire then.
Clara?
Claire.
Claire.
Call her Claire.
I'm going to call it Clara. I like the name.
Clarabelle.
Well, listen,
Okay.
Clarabelle. So,
Yes.
all right, so let's get this into a nutshell now, because I want to wrap this up, put it in a bow.
Okay.
You get charged. Clarabelle says you sexually assaulted her.
Yes.
Did it go to trial? Where did we get
Yes.
to in this?
I
Oh,
went to trial. I had to go to
so
trial.
Clarabelle was in the seat saying that
They
you.
were all, yes. They had lined these people up on me, baby. They had 7 people in the courtroom ready to testify that I had done all this. What happened was my attorney, he says, Jerome, you have to tell them the truth. And the truth is that you're a homosexual. And I had to sit up there. I told him the story, what happened. And he asked me, did you sexually harass her? I says, no, I did not. He says, why not? I says, because I'm a homosexual. That saved me on that. But what happened was the secretary of the school, who said she did not like niggas. That's what she said. I don't like no niggas. But I have to be honest. He did not hit them. He did not attack them. They attacked him first.
Ooh.
That is what saved my butt.
Mm.
This woman, that's why I say to you, you know, there are rainbows all around. You never know how it's going to come. And I could not live my life having hate in my heart for these people, because if they knew better, they would have done better.
No, and I don't want you to have hate in your heart. What I want to, I'll hold the hate for you. I'll do that for you. Because look, if you notice, I have a T-shirt over my shoulder that says, don't make me hate you. Because I don't want to hate people. They make me hate them. I start out loving everyone. All right, so you're on trial. So then what happens? Does the judge just say, get out of my court, you lying sacks of crap? What happens?
The judge is just outdone. He's listening to all this. He's like,
yeah, what's happening, right?
what's happening? And he realized that they had tried to railroad me himself, because it was just obvious. This guy, he's admitted to the world, and it's on books that he is a homosexual.
And that was brave. That was brave.
Let me just say this to you.
All right.
My life, since I've been 15 years old, basically I've been on my own. I've had to have courage. And I've had, you know what, and I'll tell you something else. And I tell young people this all the time. Honesty is really the best policy because a lie can cost someone their life.
I'm thinking about
I look at Emmett Till, this woman, Emmett Till. He
I'm
was
just-
murdered. He was murdered, brutally murdered because someone lied on a lie that she carried for about 50 or 60 years.
You made me think when you said that you went with Emmett Till. I was thinking about the Black Wall Street burning to the ground because
Yes.
supposedly some black guy in an elevator touched a white woman, and how many lives were destroyed.
Yes.
It's just
One
amazing.
lie.
I want to let people know who are watching on Facebook. I really appreciate you guys tuning in to watch our conversation with Jrome. If you're watching on the Hanging with Langan group page, do me a favor. Just go to StreamYard.com/Facebook, and you're going to click on the blue button because we can see your comments, but we want to see the name that's associated with those comments because you people are making lovely comments. StreamYard.com/Facebook. I want to read some of the comments to you. See, someone is saying, but I will know your name if you do what I just told you. I attest to your wonderful, kind energy, they say. Another says, forgiveness is fine, but not forgetting. To forget is to repeat.
Yeah. I do not forget. Honestly, it is not forgetting. But let me say something to you all as well. You can't harbor it because, to be honest with you, it stopped me for many of years from achieving anything. I got my license as a hairdresser, but in St. Louis, it was hard for me to work there because I had that little blacklist thing going on, you know? When I moved to New York, this is 35, 40 years later, they ran my name and that came up, even though that's right. And this was a temp job. And they would not even give me the temp job because that came up on my record. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, I hear you.
And luckily, the showbiz community became my family. You know, my godfather, Ashton Springer, who brought me from St. Louis at a period of time because he realized what was happening to me. My godmother, Betty Levette, who helped me. My other I call them my godparents because God sent them to me.
This makes me
Honest to God.
Angels.
I met these people in St. Louis outside of the American Theater selling nickel bags of weed.
Well, see, there you go. Good things come out.
They put me out the theater because I was sneaking the theater to see the shows. They put me out and they gave me a job selling programs. And they said to me, if you go back to school, we will send for you to come to Kansas City. This is a show for colored girls who would consider suicide. We will send for you to sell programs. So how can I be hateful because God has blessed me and has kept me all these years through this journey? So when I got the gig in Exonerated, first when I auditioned, I wasn't hired. I got a great Dear John letter. The letter made me cry. I says, my God, I wasn't cast, but this letter is something else. They called me 2 weeks later, and I was really so excited to be part of the production. But I'm going to tell you something. It's a beautiful thing. It's a sad thing because when I see the characters, sometimes they make me cry.
Yeah, let's talk about that. And I want to give another shout out about this. Jerome Andre, exonerated from his own young man of sexual assault and battery. And just I have to ask at the end, did the judge just say, innocent, everybody move on? Is that what happened?
Get out of my court. Get out of my court. And young man, we're sorry. Because I was in tears. My mother was sitting there. I had to say to the world, I'm a homosexual. It was devastating to me. You know, it was really devastating. It really was, you know. But I'm here.
Here we are.
I have a wonderful show.
Yeah, let me tell people where the show is. And so we'll set that up because I want you to give a little bit of detail about the show and the characters. Jrome Andre is starring one of the characters in the revival of The Exonerated at the Out of the Box Theater It's playing in New York City in the Upper West Side at the Bernie Wall Center, October 7th through the 10th. And get tickets by going to outoftheboxtheater.com. Outoftheboxtheater.com. And I'm so fascinated having you here because you know the experience of the injustice of a system, even though, thank God, you were never on death row. This story, Exonerated, follows 6 stories of people on death row who were exonerated. And I understand in the play there are their actual words, transcriptions, journals, all of the words come from their mouths. So tell me one of the 2 of the stories that really, who are you playing in there? And tell me that story.
I play Robert Hayes. Robert actually is the only fictional character in the show. The other characters are actually real people that this happened to. And Robert was accused of actually rape and murder. He stayed in 7.5 years. And he's just been out 3.5 years. He's gotten married to his childhood sweetheart. So he tells his story of how he was actually working at a racetrack and was railroaded. He had had sex with the white girl. Also, other people had sex with the white girl as well.
Jeez, having sex with white girls is red flag. I mean, as attracted as I am to you, Jerome, if you were straight, I couldn't sleep with you. You don't know what would happen.
Stop it.
I don't know what would happen. I would never want to hurt you, but society would not accept our love.
You know what it is? I'll be honest with you. It's actually still taboo in certain societies. You know, I've traveled all over the world and I've met some beautiful people, beautiful men and beautiful women in all shades and all colors. But in America, especially, it's taboo in the South and some parts of the Midwest. They don't realize we're all humans having a human experience. We're all actually spirits having a human experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never understood cutting off from each other when there's so much
love and so much to offer, and we all have things to share and to give with each other. And it's cut off because of negativity and someone saying, even a child, when a child is first born, he doesn't care if you're black or yellow or green or orange.
They don't know any of that preconceived.
That's right. That's taught through socialization. Your parents, other people around you teach you to hate.
Yeah.
But Robert is a funny guy. He's also a serious guy too. And he's been damaged by the system. He gets out. He can't even get his license back from working in the racetrack. He can't even get his license back. They have stopped his life. All he really wants is a nice barn, a tractor, a couple horses. He can't even get that.
So this is one of the characters we're going to see in the Exonerated, as well as 5 other characters.
Yes.
And what I want to tell people here, thank you, Steve Vega, for the link here is shown there, showticksforyou.com, event details. But you know what? I will repost that, but that's a little convoluted. So if you see it in the thread, go there. Otherwise, go to outoftheboxtheater.com, because that is the best way to get tickets. It's the easiest way, and of course I will post it here. People who don't love and respect themselves are not able to love and respect others. This is from Steve. Everything begins and ends with the self. That's why I'm eternally grateful for the chanting of something I don't know how to say. Nam Myoho Ranga Kaya. Good. No, I'm glad that works for you. I'm glad that works for you.
Oh, okay.
Respectfully, I don't know what's happening. Yeah, oh, that's cool. What does that mean? What's happening? I don't know
my Buddhist brothers and sisters, Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, okay?
Say it slower for me. I respect, but I have to joke. Come closer to the mic, Buddhist lover. Tell me how to say that chant.
Nam Myoho Renge Kyo.
All right.
Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. You know, through my time of finding myself, I have studied Christianity, Buddhism, Islam, because I really think they're all connected. I think we separate ourselves.
Well, we certainly do. Well,
there's only one spirit, and the spirit to me is love.
I'm with you, Jrome Andre. How can people follow you, my love? I know you also sing. Tell people how they can stay connected with you.
I'm a recording artist, actually, but an actor because I live in New York City. I love them both. But you can find me on JeromeAndre.com. my Facebook page. Come and stop by and see me, holler at me. I'll sing a song to you. But but I've been so blessed, actually. I've had some one. I always tell people this career was on the job training because actually my godfather gave me a job doing wigs in theater. And that's how I survived so many years while I was trying to figure all this out. I was always singing and I always recorded. I was always in the business, but I had to find my way. And that was on the job training. I got
Ah,
there famous behaving with Didi Bridgewater. That was on the job training. I worked with some great directors, George Faison, and now I have this opportunity to work with Patricia Floyd. And she is so wonderful. She's a wonderful director. Really. The
the
cast,
Exonerated. So
let
I
me
want to go
huh?
ahead. Sorry, go ahead. We got to wrap this up, but go ahead.
Okay, the cast, they're fabulous. We have Kelly Gilmore. He plays Gary. We have James Harder. He's one of the male symbols. Oh, they're all wonderful. Garrett Lee, who makes me cry. He plays David. And he reminds me of me because he was young when this happened to him. But the stories, oh my God. Grant, uh, Sean C. Turner, who is fabulous, who has a nighttime DJ voice. And I want to give a shout out to Douglas Turner, Ward Turner. He passed. And he was supposed to be part of the show, actually. And Sean has taken over the role, Sean C. Turner, and he's simply fabulous. And we have Stephen Vega, who's in the company as well. I'm just thinking all the people that, I'm sorry, Arthur French was supposed to be in the show. Forgive me, guys, Arthur French. He was supposed to play the lead. So there are a lot of wonderful artists in the show. Who else can I name in the show? I'm trying to
Well,
think
why
of
don't
all
they
the
go
people.
see it so that they can meet
Yeah,
everybody and see it firsthand?
Angela plays my wife. We have Susan Case and we have Julie Cooper. It's a wonderful cast. I had to name all of them. I don't want them mad
Jerome, you
at
don't
me
want to
on
hurt
that.
anybody, Jerome. And people, this is not a misspelling. Follow him. It's Jerome without the E. Jerome.
Yes, follow me.
Jerome
I love you.
Andre.
Thank you, Maureen. Thank you so much for having me. And also, I want to say this as well. The theater company, they're out of the box is such a fabulous company to be part of because what it does, it allows people my age and older to get an opportunity to still practice their craft. And that's a beautiful thing because a lot of times at a certain age, people are forgotten.
I can't, please don't even get me on the ages, and that'll be another
Okay.
topic for another time. Do not even, oh, it makes my head
I just wanted
explode.
to say that I want to thank Helena actually for really hiring me. Actually, Elena, she is the producer of the show, and also I want to say this: Lynn, who is also the assistant director, also is a St. Louis sister. She lived on the South St. Louis when that was happening to me at that time.
Wow. Well,
Yeah.
I'm out of the box theater company. The show is at the Bernie Wall Center, New York City.
Yes.
That's at 90th and Columbus in Upper West Side, October 7th through the 10th. Go say hello to Jrome Andre when you're there. Support what people are doing. Get your tickets at outoftheboxtheater.com. I'm going to put you in the back room and say goodbye to you in just a minute after I make another announcement or
Bless
two.
your
Okay.
heart. Thank you. Listen, Maureen, thank you so much for having me today.
Thank you for being my guest, and thank you for sharing your
You
story.
really warmed my heart. Thank you for allowing me to tell my story. And hopefully this can help somebody else that's gone through what I've gone through.
That's right. The
They're not,
energy's out there.
they're not alone. They're not alone. They really are not alone.
Who doesn't love this guy? You got to be kidding me. Look at this. Mwah. Saying back, I'll say, Jerome Andre, what a beautiful man and a beautiful spirit. Please go see the show. They do give actors over a certain age an opportunity to really, like you said, perform. It isn't just like they're not casting 20-year-olds in thongs. You know what I mean? There's substance here. This is what we're talking about with the Out of the Box Theater Company. And a big shout out to my friend Bob Johnson for introducing me to Jerome and all the great work he does. He's such a creative guy. Follow him at Bitten by a Zebra on the .com. So just let you guys know, I had a interview with Malachi McCourt, a fabulous raconteur, writer, brother of Frank McCourt of Angel's Ashes. I will be putting up that soon. If you want to get a Don't Make Me Hate You t-shirt, you can go to my website, maureenlangan.com. I have a store there. or you could private message me one and we can sort that out one-on-one that way. So they're great for the holidays when you have to get like one of those grab bag things and people are like, I don't know what to get. So they're $25 and it helps keep the show going. And another way you can support the show that would be real, and there's a link, and Bob put a link to the store in the comments so you can see that. But just go maureenlangan.com. The other thing I want to say to you, if you want to support the show, we work hard here to bring you great guests to keep the shows coming. And that's because of your support. If you consider a subscription at $5 a month or more at patreon.com, patreon.com, you can get it at so many different levels. Starting at the $5 level, Carol Burnett, you'll get all access to all the videos. $10 Dolly Parton level, you'll get bonus episodes in addition to the regular videos. At Phyllis Diller, that's an idea. Instead of spending $25 on just one t-shirt, Steve, why don't you join for a month at the $25 level, and I'll send you a t-shirt for free, and you'll have access to all my video interviews. And it can go way up. If you want me to do a private show for you or put things together, we got the Joan Rivers at $1,000. We have $50, $100 levels. We'll bring comedy shows. We'll have virtual happy hours. A lot of good things there. Or if you say, you know, Maureen, I just want to give you a lot of money. Really, that's all I want to do. All right. PayPal or Venmo at Mo Langan. So that's what we got there. A lot of great shows coming up. Please subscribe for free at Apple, Spotify. Give it a review. Let your friends know. This is how we grow the numbers. This is how we grow the show. And I will see you again soon. Until we meet again. Bye, Wig. Mwah.